Can you recognize the sound that you've just heard? It's called gong, my cultural heritage. Yes, now imagine, one day the sound disappeared. Not just disappear from the mountains, but from the memory. Would we only lose the music or something deeper, a part of who we are? Hello everyone, my name is Krachen Kabien. I'm from the Central Highlands of Vietnam. When I think about my childhood, I don't remember a place. I remember a sound. I was standing at the village wedding where people were talking, laughing, and the air smelled of food and firewood. Near the entrance, a group of elderly men stood quietly holding gong. And then, everything changed. People turned, the celebration truly began, and the echo spread across the village and echoing into the mountain. At the time, I didn't truly understand it, but later I realized it was never something official. It was something I grew up with, something I almost, yes, and I realized it's not just a sound, it was a language without words. You know, for the people in the Central Highlands, there are not simply instruments, they are sacred. They are connected living with their ancestors. And they are present in life most important moments like birth, harvest, marriage, and even death. When the gong are played, it is not just a sound, it is the community speaking. It is the memory, it is the identity, and it is the spirit of the people. Yes, and you know, in 2005, UNESCO recognized the cultural space of gong cultures as an intangible heritage of humanity. But to me, it was never something official. It was something I grew up with, something I almost ignored, and today, the world is changing. Many people, young people that live in their villages, and city grows, technology fills our lives. And slowly, the sound of gong no longer everywhere. And today, the children, they heard the music from their phone than from the mountains. So I began to ask myself, if one day the sound disappears, what disappears with it? And then I realized the problem is not that the gong disappearing. The problem is that we are no longer listening. Because culture doesn't vanish suddenly. It fades when it becomes background noise, when it is no longer understood, no longer felt, no longer heard. Yes. So that is why I am here today. Not as a researcher, not as an expert, but as someone who once heard this sound, but didn't truly listen. Yes, because culture doesn't belong only to museums. It belongs to people, to those who live with it, to those who choose to continue it. And as a young person, I believe our role is simple. Not just to remember, but reconnect. We can learn about our tradition, we can join our cultural activity and share this story with others. Even standing here today and share this story with you, it is the one small way to keep the echo alive. And the good news is the sound of gong is not gone, it is changing. Yes, many young people finding new ways to have the gong alive. For example, like group of Dala band, they blend traditional sound with modern music. They are not replacing the tradition. They are happy to reach new ear. And at the same time, the cultural festival and tours bring gong performances to more people. And visitors don't just see the landscape, they hear the voice. And through that, the sound of gong travels further than ever before. Yes, even maybe preservation today is not about keeping everything unchanged. Maybe it allowing cultural grow while remembering where it's come from. Yes, today when I hear the gongs, I hear it differently. Not just the music, but as voices. Voices of generation, the mountains, and the forests. And a question, will this echo continue? Because cultural is not about what we inherit. It is what we choose to carry forward. Yes, maybe the real question is, when the gong echo, will we still be listening? Because as long as we listen, we remember. And as long as we remember, it will never truly be lost. Yes, thank you.